Just checked up on my USPS tracking updates for the main board I got for the camera, and according to it, my parents did some work yesterday. And according to the tracking updates, my package is here. So, and indeed it is. Ah, yes! This is mine! So we're gonna bring this camera back to life, so I hope. I like how he marked the package to say what it is. That's great. Alright, let the unpackaging begin. There we go. Wrapped in anti-static. Perfect. Quite cold too. There she be. Brand new main board. Well, actually not brand new. It's used. But hopefully it works. Alright, so the first step is obviously to get the camera taken apart so you can actually get to the main board. This is actually a lot easier than it sounds. There's only 2, 4, 6 screws holding the body, the outer casing, to the camera. Okay, this one just pretty much falls off. There's nothing holding it on. This one you got to be careful with because there's a cable that goes to the main board for your mode dial. You just pull that out. Should not come off that difficult. And try to make sure to keep your screws separate, because I'm pretty sure I got a lot of them put in the wrong place when I redid this. Okay, you've got 2 screws here. You want to take out the silver one, not the pink one. And that's it for that side. And then you've got 1 screw right there. Now I should be able to pull off this front panel. Oh, one more thing. Your ribbon cable here. Go ahead and pull that off. Alright. Now you have access to the screw that holds the buttons on, and there's another one right here that goes into the side of the screen. Bracket. It doesn't actually go into the screen. There's also a screw up here for when you go to remove the screen. Oh yeah, and watch out for your lens gasket because it likes to fall out. Alright. Screen surround just basically comes off like that. No real big deal. Now that you've got the screws for the buttons removed, just flip up the ribbon cable, hold down, and it just slips right out. Perfect. And when you get to the screen, you've got the main, which real easy slide out, and then the secondary, which you kind of have to pull on, and I dropped the screen. But it comes out fairly easily. Okay, next thing's next. You're going to have to pull this screw and this screw, because they are the last thing in the way to getting this sucker pulled out. That bracket just comes off. Fairly simple. Alright, up next, you've got this little ribbon cable which goes over to the flash unit and the microphone on the left side. All you do is just pull that. I'll show you a way I've found to get it back in there later, because it is rather difficult if you just have your fingers. And then you have your image sensor. Take that off, and then the lens motor and all of its stuff, and that one just pops off as well. Under these two you've got one screw here, and there's also one screw over here. Those both have to be pulled. Okay, and the last thing you've got to do before this thing should just come out is pop this ribbon cable, which goes to your right mic from the battery and the LED for your red eye or whatever you use it for. And then mainboard just pops out. Be sure you angle it, because the HDMI connector will get caught on this little hole, as I found out a couple weeks ago. And that's it. That's how you get this thing apart. And assembly is reverse of removal. Slip it back in and start putting screws back in. Okay, image sensor, lens control, be sure you flip up this little deal, because these do move, which makes it a lot easier to get these in and out. And your battery ribbon cable, which also goes to the other things I mentioned. And this ribbon cable. Okay, so for this ribbon cable here, the easiest way I've found to get it back into its connector on the main board is use a little straight pin, and there's a hole in the ribbon cable. Okay, let me actually get it down there to begin with, because that's the first step, really. It is sort of in the connector, but not quite. Now, use your pin, get it into that little connector's hole, and be very careful not to scrape the main board as you push that connector, or push the ribbon cable into the connector. And there you go. It's all good. And it's the same way with this one from the screen. It's the easiest way I found to do it. I'm sure there may be an easier way, but I haven't found it. Anyway, let's continue. Next thing you want to do is this bracket. Something I really didn't note before, that I probably should have. The screen has a little tab on it, right there, that slips there. This also has a little tab on it that's supposed to slip right in there. Oops, my screen is falling off. Like so. And it just slips around, and then you get your mounting hole and mounting hole. Alright, next task is getting the front surround onto the body. Make sure you watch out for your ribbon cable and don't squish it. It's fairly simple. Also, make sure your O-ring for the lens gets in there the way it's supposed to. That one got me a couple times. Alright, what you want to do, push on the screen but not too hard, and the front of the body, and get your black screw into that little bitty hole there, because in the final inner screw. Alright, now give it a final push for a little bit and get your first outside screw started. Alright, next thing, get your little ribbon cable into its correct spot. And always be sure to flip down your connectors. Otherwise, they won't make the correct connections. Alright. This is probably the most difficult ribbon cable to get into the main board because there's no hole. And you just have to shove it in there, however. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to bother with the camera on that one. Alright, and once you get that ribbon cable in there, you do not want it coming back out. So be careful. And then, you got two tabs here. They got to go behind the silver piece. And you should see them in those holes. Yeah, you see them. Also, you've got plastic tab over here, plastic tab over here. Also, you've got these two over here, but they won't matter. And that's it. Check all your buttons, make sure they're not squished, and start putting in the outside screws. Last piece. Alright, and now, the moment of truth. This is a battery that I freshly charged just 2 days ago, just for this occasion. Anybody else getting all excited over this? I am. Oh yes. Oh, I gotta set the time, of course. March 2nd, 2012. And it is currently 16:32. I don't know. I don't really care anymore. Home time zone. I am in Alaska. Woohoo! Oh man. Cannot record. Well, hang on, let me get a memory card. Ooh, I am happy! At the moment, this camera has got the memory card I always used in the 230, because it's my big monster card. Wait a minute. Aha, that's funny. I can barely even see the numbers anymore because I'm always taking it between the cameras. Okay, here we go. And now, we no longer have a need for this camera. Oh man, this is freaking awesome. Don't even need to use this one. Carry that big old monster. It's like having this one all over again. This one fits in my back pocket.
I'm so happy.
All in a day's work. I'm gonna clean up a bit before my dad gets home. Freaks out because I mess with his workspace over here. Woo! Well, I don't know what else to say. It works. And I probably gonna go sleep now because I gotta work tonight, and I've been up since about 10 o'clock this morning. So I'll see you later with this camera because it's fixed now. I haven't been this happy, well, since yesterday actually, because the shelter made me happy. Anyway, goodbye.